all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning and happy Friday to you. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 3rd of July. Here's what you need to know ahead of the weekend. COVID-19 cases in India have crossed 6 lakh yesterday morning, with the country adding over 18,000 new cases over the past couple of days. The US, meanwhile, is seeing a spike in cases too, with the number rising by 56,800 yesterday to 27.2 lakh. The 2.1% increase was higher than the average daily increase of 1.7% over the past week and the biggest jump since the 9th of May. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious disease expert in the US, has said that the world likely needs more than one vaccine to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. In major news back home, Housing Development Finance Corporation Chairman Deepak Parekh has suggested a one-time restructuring of real estate loans to revive the sector and speed up completion of stuck projects. In his annual letter to the shareholders of the mortgage giant, Parekh also suggested easing of external commercial borrowing rules and immediate changes in regulations to allow end-to-end execution of housing loans online. There's going to be a change in the constitution of the Nifty 50 index at the end of this month. HDFC Life will replace Vedanta on account of the voluntary delisting proposed by the Anil Agarwal-led company. Speaking of a change in constitution, auto components major Motherson Sumi Systems announced yesterday that it would undertake a group restructuring where it will demerge its domestic wiring harness business into a new company that will eventually be listed. The reorganization has been approved by the boards of the two companies. In the top international news, China has warned the US, Australia and the UK of countermeasures if the countries continue to take actions in response to Beijing's tough national security law in Hong Kong, saying that foreign pressure would never succeed. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian has said that China deplores and firmly opposes the US House of Representatives' unanimous passing of a bill this week that would level sanctions on banks that do business with Chinese officials involved in clamping down on Hong Kong's pro-democracy protesters. In other news, the US labor market made greater progress than expected last month, digging out of a deep hole. But optimism over the rebound was tempered by high layoffs. Thursday's release of the monthly employment report and the weekly jobless claims offered diverging snapshots of the US economy. One reflected a flurry of rehiring, particularly at restaurants and retailers as state economies reopened, but the other reflected a jump in new virus cases, which has led many of the same states to halt or even roll back reopening plans. In international markets, US stocks continued to climb, with the three averages gaining between 0.4 and 0.5%. And that's leading Asian stocks higher at the end of this week, with all three early risers comfortably in the green last I checked. With that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Agam. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex, and a happy Friday, listeners. Well, we start with the SGX Nifty Futures as usual, which is currently trending higher by around 30 odd points, which means we can expect a positive opening this Friday. But there has been a ton of important news flow last evening. And to start off with, HDFC Life Insurance, which will replace Vedanta on the Nifty 50 index, considering Vedanta has proposed a voluntary delisting plan. These changes will be effective from 31st July. We move on to Motherson Sumi, where the board has approved a restructuring plan and this will take place in two parts. The first part will include the demerger of its domestic wiring harness business, and this business will also be listed, where shareholders will get one share of the resulting company for each share held in Motherson Sumi. And the second part will be the amalgamation of Samvardhan Motherson International with Motherson Sumi by absorption, and this will be subsequent to the completion of the aforesaid demerger. In this case, 51 shares of the company will be allotted for every 10 shares held in Samvardhan Motherson International. So we'll be watching out for that, but the initial take from analysts seems to be positive, considering the group is looking to simplify the structure. Moving on, JB Chemicals and Pharma is also in focus, as promoters have entered into an agreement to sell 54% stake to KKR Group for an amount of a little over 3,100 crores in various tranches. And as per SEBI rules, this triggers an open offer for 26%, where the offer price has been set at 745 rupees per share, and this will aggregate to another 1,500 crore rupees. Post the transaction, the promoter stake will fall to 17% from a little over 55%, and the offer price is at a 4% premium to yesterday's closing price. PI Industries has launched a QIP issue yesterday, and the QIP floor price has been set at 1,534 rupees per share, which is at a 2% discount. And of course, that's the closing price yesterday. As per SEBI regulations, the company may offer a discount of no more than 5% of the floor price, so calculated for the issue. The indicative deal size comes up to approximately 2,000 crores. And finally, we have Axis Bank, which has decided to wind down and close the operations of Axis Bank UK, a subsidiary of the bank, and is targeting for surrendering of the banking license at the end of April 2021. Let's not forget Affle India as well. That will acquire 8% stake in OS Labs for about $2.86 million, and OS Labs operates Indus App Bazaar, which is India's largest independent indigenous app store, and partners with OEMs in India. Now, these are just some of the stocks we can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam, and as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great end to the week and an even better weekend.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.